Okay, you're on.
Well, welcome everyone to the Mahwah Regional Chamber of Commerce social media webinar series. I'm Karen Yankovich, and I am Patty Simone's assistant today. And I'll tell you a little bit about Patty in a minute. This is the first webinar or workshop for the social media marketing series. We're so excited to be doing this for you. Over the next 6 months, we're going to be covering everything you need to know to get a strong, integrated social media and content marketing campaigns. We want them to be profitable, and we're going to be talking about LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube and Google Plus and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. We're going to be talking about social PR, live streaming. Oh my gosh, we've got so much in store for you guys, and we're excited to kick it off today with Intro to Content Marketing, Blog Your Way to Better Leads and More Sales with Patty Simone. And Patty is a PR and business communication strategist. She helps individuals and companies optimize their communications, helps increase their sales and returns on their marketing via content and web marketing, videos, social media, public relations. She's founder of Women Centric, a business and career advancement resource for working women, entrepreneurs, and enterprises of all sizes. She is co-author of Jersey Women Mean Business, and she is a credentialed journalist. She's got over 1,000 bylines. I can talk forever, but I am going to introduce Patty to us right now. Patty, one more thing before I introduce Patty. I will be here in the chat. If you have any issues with the webinar, please just mention it in the chat. I've got access to Patty. I can jump back in and let her know what we've got, and if we have questions, I can help her with that as well. So I'm going to be monitoring the chat. Feel free to jump in there and give us any questions or concerns you have about this webinar, whether it's content related or technically related. So, Patty, take it away.
Okay, thanks so much, Karen. I am thrilled to be starting the new year off and kicking it off strongly with this Blog Your Way to Better Leads and Sales. And so, without further ado, let's get started. Our series is sponsored by RD Legal Bookkeeping. They help you manage your business finances so you can focus on increasing your bottom line. It is also sponsored by UpLevel Media, which is run by Karen Yankovich, social media brand strategist and LinkedIn pro. And you can find out more information about Karen at uplevelmedia.com. And it's also sponsored by Women Centric, which is my enterprise. As Karen mentioned, I'm a PR and business communication strategist, and we help individuals, entrepreneurs, and enterprises get better returns. So let's get rolling. Okay, it used to be that you had to, you had a brick and mortar store, you put a sign up in the window and people would know you're open and they'd come in and word of mouth and whatever. And that was the way that you had sales back in the day, not too long ago. I decided to start this off with a little chuckle too, but it really isn't funny because there's a lot of people that do what this guy do. They're really unsure about how to use the different methods and the tools and the platforms that are out there. They don't have integrated strategies put together. And in effect, because of that, they're doing what he's doing and saying, hey, you want to buy our product? And hoping someone hears us. Here's what he's saying. So we want to help you be more sophisticated than this and get some tangible returns. So we're going to start off in identifying, from my perspective, what content marketing is. And I culled it down because I believe pithy is more powerful in every given time. That is strategic editorial information. And that's the long and short of it. And we're going to dive into exactly what that means. But the bottom line is content marketing is the act of putting together strategic editorial information that gets shared. So let's define it a little bit further. It can be as short as 140 characters, content marketing that is. So it can be you on Twitter sharing something that's valuable, a link to an article that you thought was interesting, a link to a video, a link, I hope, when we're done with this, to one of many blog posts that you're going to be starting to write as a result of taking this workshop webinar. And it can also be something like this. And I decided to feature Karen in this. It can be a LinkedIn post that Karen has shared, and she's putting it out there very regularly, very consistently. She's sharing information. It can also be a press release that you're, opining on the latest trend, or you're forecasting the latest trend, or you are responding to something that you saw that appeared in the media, and you want to, again, get your name out there and lend your voice and your opinion on something that's going on through a press release. So in my experience, in being a journalist, in being someone that goes to a lot of conferences, in being someone, because of my journalist and publisher status with Women Centric, talking to a lot of thought leaders and business experts, this is the way that a lot of folks got to where they are today. This is the absolute beginning building block that got them on their path to a high level of success. And it comes down to blogging. And this is a blog post that I just pulled from the new Women Centric site that I'm working on live. And it's one of the ones that we put out a few years ago. But the content is relevant, the advice and the strategy is on point as much as it was then. So it's a valuable tool. And it's featuring the insight and expertise of another marketing professional. So, we can talk about a lot of different individuals that are using blogging, but let's face it, big brands are on board with this, and they have been right from the beginning. They're putting out strategic information, and as the evolution of communications has changed, and it definitely has, it used to be all about pushing out their message and saying, look at us, we're doing this, and you need to know about this, and we sell this product. And it's become an evolving communications platform where, yes, they're putting out content, and it happens to be about something that you'll be interested in. Oh, and by the way, it's sponsored by either Adidas or GE or Zagat or Red Bull, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I don't think it's too far. And I really, really say this, from the bottom of my heart. I think that blogging is the most awesome small business sales tool ever, because you don't need to be a big brand. You don't need to have $1 billion or multi-million-dollar budget in order to take advantage of the benefits and the perks and again, it's a building block to getting you where you want to go. To me, it's all about feeding your sales funnel. I mean, any of these things that we talk about in any of our workshops that we're going to be presenting, it's all about how to get more business, how to become more profitable. It's not about, philanthropy, although we hardly believe in philanthropy. It's a great thing, but it is about feeding your sales funnel. So here's one. We'll get started with why blogging rocks so much. And again, you don't have to have this as a goal, but it is a side benefit. You have, by the virtue of these amazing platforms that we all have access to, that thank goodness are mostly free or totally free, you have a worldwide audience you can reach. And that is huge. Now, whether you want to reach that worldwide audience or not, it sort of doesn't matter. But if you do, it's awesome. And again, these are, I lifted these as an example of two of the latest blog posts from dailyworth.com, and they are religiously posting really good information from a variety of different authors. And, again, they're using good headlines and stuff, and we'll go into some of the mechanics a little bit later. But again, it's all about the reach. Blogging enables you to broaden your reach. And so, to me, it's a magic bullet for one particular reason. Aside from the worldwide possibilities of exposure, you have complete control over the content that serves you. How awesome is that? You may have in the back of your mind that you want to get featured by a member of the media. You'd like to be interviewed on the radio. You'd like to be interviewed on a podcast of a major influencer. You would like to be, on television. That's great. But in order to do that, again, you can think strategically about the information that's beneficial to the folks you want to reach and putting that together yourself. You don't have to wait for the member of the media to get in touch with you to get that broader exposure. You can do it yourself. And my little furry assistant in the corner is there because he's pointing, or she is pointing out, the other obvious benefit is that when you post something in your blog or as a guest blogger, it has shareability, immense shareability, that people can click on an icon quickly and share that in their own LinkedIn page. They can share that on their own Twitter feed. They can post that on Facebook in their own channels, and that's as well as emailing it to a friend. So, I mean, from that, again, one thing alone, the shareability factor is huge, because let's face it, it is a numbers game. It absolutely is always a numbers game. You have to try and do things in a way to be more productive. This is that's going to get your name and your company's name in front of as many people as possible. And you also have to try and make that a warm thing, a warmer lead. And again, by choosing the topics and the content that you're going to be writing about, that helps attract the right people. Then we have all these awesome platforms that once you write your blog post and you got it on either your blog or someone else's blog as a guest blogger, you have a variety of platforms that you can talk about it, share it, and the possibilities of being retweeted. And again, the shareability factor is magnified by what you choose to do to leverage that blog post in all these amazing channels, including YouTube. And I just, included a screenshot from one of the many videos that we did when we were out and about as Women-Centric as publishers. And it was awesome because it engaged people. It's a really good tool to talk about, again, blogging tips, etc., your experiences. It's all of these are awesome. Other cool channels that people like myself and Karen and a lot of other people are testing and using quite successfully, including large brands. And again, this goes along with the shareability factor about a blog post, or enhancing it and leveraging even more, is using live streaming channels like Periscope and Blab, as well as creating something that after you've done a few blog posts, you've got content perhaps in a variety of different topics, and you can put together an ebook that you can then use as another sales tool to draw more inbound leads to you. Okay, so to me, the three awesome benefits of blogging, and they're also a goal. It's a goal and a benefit at the same time. Introducing your brand to new audiences. It absolutely gives you that benefit, that byproduct. It helps you grow your email list. I've talked to more entrepreneurs than I can even tell you about that still don't understand that having their email list and having a weekly newsletter or every 2 weeks or even a monthly newsletter is key, because the people who have opted to receive that email, they are, again, those warmer leads, people who have decided that they have, you have something valuable to say and they want to get more of it. So that is critical as a byproduct of what the strategy should be behind why you're blogging. Blogging also helps expand your social fan base. And why is that important? Even if you're the most introspective, introvert, and you don't want to have too much of your, personal life out there, if you're in business, it's expected of you to have your profile up in certain channels. It doesn't look right if someone goes to Twitter and sees that, you don't have even an account. It doesn't look right as a business owner today for them to go to Facebook and not see your business Facebook page. If you've got those things already with your, secured with your business name, bravo, kudos, very proud of you, right on. But you want to use those channels to, again, get more. Your blog helps you to get more people to follow you. Those more people following you hopefully will feed that sales funnel into your email list. And your email is also one of the main sales drivers that's going to help, you get the sales that you want. So, okay, this is why blogging is so awesome. And it's so underutilized. So I'm going to tell you again, please, if you haven't been blogging, you've got to start. And if you only do it once a week to start off with, or even once every 2 weeks, but get started, because it absolutely is one of the best and easiest ways for you to generate more sales. And that's the bottom line. So when we get back to the email marketing, I just grabbed a couple of different examples of different emails that I read on a religious basis because they're interesting and they've got really good content and they share good articles and tips and advice and insight and trend news, all of the above. Again, one of the ways that I found them is because these folks were blogging. That's how I connected with them. So in terms of content marketing, I put together some really simple rules of engagement. The whole idea of these tools being valuable and being so successful is that you want to make sure that you're not talking about yourself all the time or what you're doing, but rather that you're sharing the benefit of your expertise. You're being valuable again within the blog posts that you're doing, and that you're making sure that it's editorial in nature. So think with the reporter cap on. If you were a reporter and you were doing a story, you're not going to be writing it in a marketing tone. You're going to be marketing it, you're going to be writing it rather as if you're, seeing it in a magazine or a newspaper, an article that's going to be sharing information, but it's not overtly marketing that company. And you should be authentic to your brand. That's very important so that you establish a voice that people recognize as being you and not, someone else. So you're not hip hopping all over the map. So are you very traditional and that works for you? That's great. Are you more of an extrovert? Are you more of, bouncy and energetic? That's great too. And that should be reflected in how you write and what you share. By doing all of these things and doing it consistently, and of course doing it well, that is part and parcel. You do have to have the expertise in whatever it is, in your field, in your business, to share good information. But by doing that, by virtue of you doing that, it really does position you better as the voice of authority. And that's pretty cool. That's really cool. There are bonuses. Lots of very good added bonuses when you're doing this, especially in terms of, and again, I can't help but thinking of this of, why is blogging so cool? Why does it rock above so many other things that you can choose to do? It organically can help raise your search engine rankings on Google or any other search engine. Because the more that you're blogging more consistently and you're sharing information that's pertinent to your business and your services that you want to sell, the products that you're selling, the more that you do that, Google's tracking that as well as the other search engines. And they're seeing that there's relevant, good content. And again, it's not done in a way, again, that's it's just part of their algorithm. And they're constantly changing their algorithm of how they rank different sites, but content is king, queen, you name it, on this one point to help you grab the space that you should. And I can tell you for sure that your more successful competitors are doing this, that they're putting content on their sites. They're creating a lot of different identities for their company in the different social platforms, which also helps to elevate your organic search engine rankings. So again, a really great added perk for blogging. Another great added perk for blogging is, again, it introduces your brand to newer audiences. It gets your brand face and your name out in front of people that you want to reach. And as a side benefit to that, guess what? All of the producers and the editors and the bloggers and the influencers, they're constantly out there trolling the internet, looking for new resources, looking for new ideas and tips, people that they want to interview. So as a side benefit, another bonus to blogging, you actually may get a call from a member of the press, or you might get an email saying, hey, I saw your blog post about, I'd like to interview you for. And boy, is that a call that you want to get. Because if you're in business and you're serious about selling more of and really leveraging your activities and getting the most out of your activities, you want that. You want to be covered. You want the Bergen Record to be calling you. You want the Town Journal to be calling you if you're local to the Mahwah Chamber area. You want the New York Times to be calling you for sure. So other perks about this is it may help you in blogging. It may actually change some of the direction of your business. in a good way. It might focus you on certain things that you then see that there's a spike in sales, and that's great. The second picture is to illustrate that it can also help attract strategic partners, new people that you haven't known about before, and that through your blogs, through your posts, and through the way that you promote those posts on Facebook, on Twitter, on a Periscope live stream, that someone who you don't know before picks up the phone and says, or emails you and says, hey, I'd like to talk about this. I think we have a good synergy that we put together here, and we could both benefit from this, and that could be awesome. Plus, it could also give you new ideas about new products and services that you could put together as a result of blogging, as a result of maybe a new direction or a new perspective that you get as you move further along using this channel the way that you're using it. Last but not least, as one of the many side benefits, as being a blogger that you can get in front of different people, you make it the opportunity to put together either your own book, a real book, not an ebook. You might be asked to be a part of a joint project, and that is a book cover of something that I was involved with. And part of what got me that availability is my writing, is all the writing work that I'm doing, whether it's in, as a journalist or whether it's, with my own blog or a guest blogger. And because of that, I also got lots and lots of speaking opportunities. Now, this might be something that you're not interested in at all, and that's fine. You don't have to pursue it. Speaking is not for everybody. Writing a book is not for everybody, even if it's only that you're contributing a chapter. But these are possibilities for people who are experts, for people who do want to get elevation and talk to, a broader audience, reach a broader audience, which again helps feed that sales funnel. Every single one of these things helps to feed your sales funnel. It's something you can talk about, and it all started off with blogging. So, but before you write a word, I want to make sure, no matter what audiences that you're looking to connect with, whether they're young professionals or families or, individuals that are, in the tech space or, just business people, and you're just in the business to business sector, no matter what audiences, you need to think about and really be strategic about a few things. So here are a few smart blogging tips. I really should have reordered this when I'm looking at this now. The number one thing is to tell a story worth hearing, because you don't want to waste people's time. We've got an average attention span, all of us, really, of a gnat at this point. We're all being super, super, bombarded every day with all these messages. Write something, tell a story, share tips that are worthwhile. Because if you don't do that, you're very, very quickly going to lose, audience. And you're not going to have all the benefits that can come from doing that worthwhile thing. In order to catch attention, also thinking from a strategic search engine optimization standpoint and the way that people are searching for information, make sure your subject line and your title in your blog is worthy of what it is that the person's going to actually find when they get there. So don't come on with something that's a snappy title that really has nothing to do with what it is that you are talking about, because that's not good. But do make it something that could be fun, intriguing, maybe even a little bit mysterious, and then make sure that you pull that all together in the context of the blog post. Lots of great bloggers include quotes from other people. They also include links to other articles. And that's always really good too, because again, if you're sharing that and you're writing the post and then you're publicizing it online in all these other different spaces, the odds are that the folks that you're quoting and the articles, those people will retweet that. And it's great. That's platinum. Forget gold. That's platinum. You want that. In order to make it an interesting read and also to make it appealing and attractive, again, think like an editor, think like a publisher, because that's what you are when you're doing this, and include at least a photo, because that makes it interesting. It breaks it up. You don't have that you're having on and on and on in your format. So formatting it and the way you present the information and make it an easier read like a newspaper is helpful to you as well. And I use the term your boilerplate. A boilerplate is a short synopsis of who you are, and it's written in a way that it underscores very overtly. Here's your 15-second elevator pitch at the end of your post, who you are, what you do, and what your main services are. So you include that in a little boilerplate at the end of your blog post, and along with a couple of strategic links, maybe leading to different sales landing pages. And that's another opportunity for you to make it easier for folks to find out more about you, check out your products and services. And so it becomes your little, in a way, a little advertising banner that gives your audience and your readers an easier entree to find more information out about whatever it is that you're linking. And then the bottom line is you also should experiment and evaluate your results. How many people shared it? How many people retweeted it? Ask for feedback and definitely be open to that. When I first started writing, I knew nothing about writing. I was an English major, but I had not, taken anything about writing as a journalist. And I was constantly asking my editors for honest, blunt feedback. Because of that, I was able to, change and evolve and grow into a better writer. So ask for that and ask for different topics that people might want you to cover, or different information that they might be looking for in terms of, again, that's relevant to your strategic, your business, your products, your services that you want to sell. And I have here a little demonstration also. What's the difference between that piece of artwork that I have that says donate and then versus you writing it down in text? It really does make a difference if you're using art strategically within your blog post, because again, it brings attention to it. It's another opportunity for you to hyperlink that piece of art also and send somebody to a sales landing page or an article or another blog post that gives more information, on and on and on, to keep that person interested, and also just to give them the perception of what you want, that you're relevant, you're valuable, you're worth reading. So again, that's just a little sample of how different that is. If you had that in text, it's like, but if you see it as a piece of art, it works. So you don't want to be that you're constantly saying to yourself, oh my God, look what date it is. I got to find some new clients, what's going on here? I was so busy, and then I was paying attention to existing clients, and now all of a sudden I realize I don't have anything, coming up. You don't want to find yourself in that position. And again, blogging can help you with that. I can't say it enough. It is the jewel in the crown in communications today. So this is what I want you to feel like. This is what I want it to be like for you, that you're really feeling like you're in control, that you're being successful, that you're getting those inquiries that you should be getting as a result of doing strategic blogging in a lot of different places, as well as your own blog to try and do guest blogging, and that you are leveraging all of those posts using the different channels that I mentioned, including your LinkedIn profile, including Twitter, including Facebook. If you feel, that you're okay and you're up for it, including live streaming with Periscope and Blab, all of those good things, and you'll be in a much, much better position. So here's my little advertorial at the end. I am a PR and business communications strategist, and I help people with developing strategies that help them feed their sales funnel through a variety of different communications platforms, including blogging, PR, media kits. And if you use the promo code RockMyBlog, and you want to purchase any of the things that are on my services pages on womencentric.net within 24 hours of this recording, that you're hearing it live on the 13th of January, then you can use Rock My Blog in an email to me, and I'll give you 15% off. So I want to thank the people that have been the sponsors. Our awesome sponsors include RD Bookkeeping, Up Level Media, and women-centric. And we definitely would love to have you have access to these things. This is a freebie for people that attend live, but then afterwards the recording and the PowerPoint is only available to the members of MAWA Regional Chamber of Commerce. So it's a perk of membership. And you can find out more information about the chamber at mawa.com.
Wow, Patty, that was so great. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good, because I don't think I was ever able to mute myself, so I hope there wasn't a lot of noise in the background. I tried about 25 different ways. That was so great. So if you're on, we still have a bunch of people online, so please drop your questions in the chat. If you have any questions for Patty, a couple things you said, Patty, really stuck with me. Like one of the things was how when you do it, it kind of establishes you as an expert, right? Like, I think sometimes we don't realize how just when you do something like put this blog out there, and there's so many free tools to be able to do that, it instantly elevates your status as an internet marketer, right? As a publisher, as somebody worthy of reading, don't you think?
Absolutely. And the thing that I really want to, underscore here is there's a lot of folks that they're wary about multi-level marketing and all this other things. This is concrete stuff we're talking about. We're not talking about, anything that's not valuable. We're talking about people have expertise and people have information that could be valuable to other people. And the most important thing is that it could be valuable to prospects. It's a way to attract the right prospects in the way that you write the information, in the way that you post it, in the way that you promote it. So absolutely. And again, those benefits that come about as a result of people now perceiving you as an expert are, tenfold.
And you know what? One of the side benefits of blogging for me, Patty, was I decided in 2014, so a year plus 2 years ago, I guess now, more than 2 years ago, that I was going to blog every week. That was my goal, every week. And I have done that. I've blogged every week since 2014. And I've actually, at this point, it's been so valuable to my business that I'm adding a second and sometimes a third blog in the week because, like you mentioned, and you mentioned this a couple of times, and I want to just point it out as how this was one thing that's been so valuable to my business. Once you start to do that, you've got this bank of content that you can share forever on your social media, but also if you're speaking to somebody, you can say, you know what, I wrote a blog post about that a couple of months ago. Let me find that blog post and send it to you. So by having it, not only does it help you with all the things you mentioned, the Google ranking and everything else, it's also there for you forever to use to kind of elevate whatever conversations you're having around those topics, don't you think?
Yeah, that is definitely it because, when I was director of sales and marketing for a couple of small companies, what I found to be, and I was doing cold calling. This is in the olden days before the internet.
For social media, we don't have to do that anymore.
Right. But one of the things that we did, what I did was always try in my subsequent conversations with those people was to send them valuable information. And that was a way of expertising me in their eyes. And so, my gosh, with all your blog posts, that's the perfect thing, Karen. That's awesome.
Yep.
And again, it keeps the conversation going because again, in terms of its awareness and then its engagement. So that's the engagement phase of the relationship where you're sending someone saying, yeah, I had a blog post I did. Yeah, let me send you that. You're not asking for anything, right?
And let me say, too, I am not a journalism major. I am not a communications major. I'm a geek. I like strategy and technology. So for me, blogging every week was like, oh, my gosh. I don't wake up and say, let me get my journal and write. I mean, that's just not my thing. So it was a little stressful. But when I realized how much, first of all, help is out there,
Yes.
One of my blogs, I told you about 3 blogs a week. One of my blogs, I do a screenshot video every week, and then I have it transcribed. So it's maybe a 3 or 4 minute screenshot video. There's services that do transcription for $1 a minute. So for $3 or $4, I get that transcribed, and that blog is an embedded YouTube video of that screenshot video and the transcription. For $3, I have a blog post, and I didn't have to sit down and write it. So there's so many different ways that this can be done, in addition to, coming up with a topic and writing 500 words about it. So thank you so much for this information. Does anybody have any questions for Patty Patty, people are loving this, so that's, and I agree with
Thank you,
them.
Carl. I see you. Well, you're very welcome. um, Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else that I might, obviously this is a tip of the iceberg. How much can we, cover in a 35-minute
Yep.
webinar? But it gives you at least the building blocks and the strategy. And more importantly, I think I'm always trying to get people to understand you don't need to have a huge marketing budget in order for you to be able to adopt the methodology that's been so successful for other people. So it's more about getting people to think like they are a big brand and using the same methodologies that have already been established and that have been proven to be successful time and time again. You can do the same thing. And if you have dedicated blocks of time to do it, like a small amount of time once a week, like Karen dedicated to do it, it works.
And you know what? The playing field is level. The playing field is level because these digital marketing tools are free. And so we have the same ability to create this content as, Pepsi-Cola does, right?
Absolutely.
Some of the logos you did. Patty, we have a question here from Larissa. It says, my problem is the starting. Do you recommend just jumping in and learning as you go along, or should I be planning, taking a moment, and then starting with an outlined marketing plan?
Well, I don't think you should just jump in without doing a little bit of homework. You absolutely should have an understanding of who you want to reach and what they would be interested in and what you can tell them as the provider of the service or the product that you provide that would be helpful to them seeking someone who provides what you provide. And I hope that it seems maybe a little bit convoluted, but it really is just thinking strategically about the who, why they want to be looking, what you can do for them, and then writing about those topics, coming up with an editorial calendar of the kinds of topics that you can write on, plus having flexibility, like this whole thing is about being flexible. If there's something that happens in the news and you have an opinion about it and it relates specifically to who you are as the provider of X service or X products, then you should be writing about it. Then you should be blogging about it. And yes, it will take a little bit of time for it to feel like it's a normal thing. And it may be that it might not be the thing for you, Larissa. Maybe it's something that you do want to hire someone to do that for you. I mean, for some folks, they make the decision, I understand the value of this. I know it is one of the critical things I should be doing. It's not for me. I'm going to work with someone to help me. But you absolutely can start off slow and then, learn as you go, ask for feedback, and develop your own pattern and your own content and your own voice, most importantly.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you said, Patty, because it reminded me of advice that somebody gave me, years ago when I first started blogging. And that was when you start to blog, before you're ready, before you call it done, read it out loud. And if you can't feel comfortable in your voice reading it out loud, then you need to go back and edit it, because you don't want people to feel like they're reading something like a textbook, right? You want them to feel like they're hearing it, especially if your brand is you. And for most of us, that's the case. The blog is being published by Karen or by Patty or by the people that are listening. So when you read it out loud, if it feels awkward, it's going to sound awkward. So make sure that that you're comfortable reading it out loud. And if you're comfortable reading it out loud, it's going to connect with the people. It's going to connect more easily with the people that you're looking to connect with. And that was really valuable advice that somebody gave me, because I was like, I have to be all professional when I write, and you don't.
Yeah, no, that is
in your own voice.
That's an awesome, awesome point. And that is exactly, I'm used to doing that because I have, experience. I've been acting, not in anything big, but I've been acting since I was 5. And so I'm used to reading things out loud, to hear about the tone and the pace and the attitude that comes across in what I'm doing. So that is an awesome point. Thank you for mentioning that. The other thing that I thought of while you were saying that, though, is you also don't want it to be like you're a finger wagging teacher, like someone going, and you should be doing, and you should be, you do not want to have that kind of approach. So yeah, reading out loud.
That is true.
That.
That is true. And you're going to hear that, I think, certainly from me, throughout this series, because that same tip applies to all of your social media content. Make sure you understand the voice that it's in, not just not just the tech, the content, but the actual tone. And as Patty said, who are you speaking to, and how does that conversation go in real life? That's how that conversation needs to go in your digital marketing.
Yeah. And also understand it doesn't have to be, a long thing. It can be 150 words. It does not have to be that you're saying, oh my God, and you're staring at an empty piece of paper and going, I got to fill up 3 pieces of paper. No, I think shorter is better. Shorter is better because people are busy. They want to get to the point. Don't dance around the point. If you have a point, make it, keep it short. 3 simple tips, 5 ways to do, 7 best practices about. Those are some of the, other tips, the more advanced tips about, grabbing people's attention, but then also delivering it, making sure that you're not wasting people's time and get to the point.
I love it.
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay,
also.
Yeah. Are there any other questions, or does Patty, do you have anything else you want to share?
Yeah. You know what? There's so much more about this topic. I mean, obviously you can Google, best blogs or best blog tips, and you can get a lot of different people opining about a lot of different things. But, talk to people, listen to what it is that your clients are confused about or your prospects may need help with. And then that will help shape the kind of content that's relevant for you. Because, again, there's a lot of people that can give you a lot of advice, but the bottom line is, what your prospects and your clients need. And also keep in mind that blogging can take an existing client and supersize that client. So they may be doing business with you about X, but you do other things as well. And by blogging about those other things and sharing valuable information, it brings it to the attention of your current clients that they could say, and believe me, I've had this happen all the time, I didn't know you did that. Which, right. Is very frustrating as a business owner when you feel like you've been very overtly, putting it out there. This is what I do. Here's what I have on the table that I can help you with. But people, again, are so busy that sometimes they don't think about that. They see you as doing one thing, and then you have to remind them every once in a while. And blogging is a way to remind your current clients of your expanded capabilities and to try and supersize them.
So Larissa has another question, and this is another good one. She thinks I think that for me, coming up with an editorial calendar so that there is a flow of information and not just random stringing together of topics is a little overwhelming. Am I overthinking?
It is a little overwhelming. You're not overthinking. It can be overwhelming, and you just have to take it one step at a time, or again, reach out to someone who is, like myself, like a lot of other people that are providing these services, to get some guidance, to have a strategic coaching session where you get some guidance and then you feel more ready and prepared to put together something that's relevant. But yeah, it is something that is a work in progress, and it should be something that's always, like I said, flexible. So even if you come up with an editorial calendar and you just want to talk about, let's just say, LinkedIn for the month and the value of LinkedIn, or you just want to talk about, you also can make sure that you're being aware of what else is going on. If something pops up in an Inc. article that you've read, or Forbes, or Daily Worth, or even another person's blog, one of the best things that happened to me eons ago is I posted something on my blog, and somebody read my blog post, and then she wrote about it in her blog. How cool was that? So and then I wanted to respond up to that to say, hey, look at how great this platform is, and here's an example of why and how people will take the time to share stuff that they think is valuable. And it's not quote magic, and it's not like hocus pocus. It's really, again, being valuable to the constituents that you seek to attract. And by virtue of you being valuable and by virtue of you sharing these things, you'll attract more people that are warmer leads to your sales funnel. I agree.
It's a great way to keep people informed about what you're doing. And on the editorial calendar topic, if there are seasons in your business, if there are things that you're promoting in January or February, those are natural things to blog about. in that time period. So yes, it can be overwhelming, but you can kind of try and take some of the overwhelm out. Sometimes even just looking at a calendar, at a calendar of like all those crazy holidays, like it's buy a new lamp day or whatever, Sometimes looking at those calendars can give you a fun idea, and then you think, how can I apply this to my business?
Right. Or industry newsletters. Those are good places to get some ideas from, and other people's blogs, people who are in your industry, that their blogs that they've, decided to write about certain topics. You can get ideas from them.
Can I share a little secret here?
Sure.
What I do when I don't know what to blog about, and I try to do this well in advance, but certainly in the beginning I did this more. I actually have a blog post about it, so if I can dig it up, I'll share it on the Chamber LinkedIn page. But I have a basket in my office of words that are around my topic. So I talk about social media, so LinkedIn and Twitter and influence and personal brand and all these different words. There's probably 30 or 40 words in there, and I pick out 3 words, and I say, how can I tie these together on a relevant topic for a blog post at this point in time? Like, it just takes what didn't I talk about? It just like kind of takes your mind to a different place, and I have come up with some of my best blogs that way by not overthinking and just saying, all right, what would I write about if the 3 words were, personal brand, live streaming, and I don't know, whatever. And it kind of changed because I don't have that content. I don't have that like journalist brain, so that helps me.
Right.
That helps any of you guys, but that was my little secret trick as to what I did, especially in the beginning, about how to find blog topics.
That's a very creative way of going about it, I think. And it's also more like stream of consciousness, too, because it helps you to, it is all relevant. All of the words, I'm sure, are relevant to what you're doing and to your prospects. Another secret that I do is I think about the questions people ask me when I'm out networking or when I'm, even just sharing information in various spaces. Questions that have been posed to me that they don't understand X, or can you explain how to do whatever? And those questions, as well as, again, it has to relate directly to the products and the services that you're looking to sell. So it can't be out in left field, although I have to make an exception on that when it comes to, puppies and kittens and recipes. But there are plenty of,
right? You can tie that stuff in. And listen, even better if you can tie puppies and kittens into current events and your topic. Now you've hit gold.
That's right. So I think we can wrap it up at this point, right? We want to thank everybody for being a part of this. And
so we're going to this is the first in a long series of these. We've got 6 months of these workshops, 2 every month, and then we're culminating it. Well, I don't even want to talk about that yet. You got to go on the WOW website and you can find out some good information. But we've got some really great stuff planned for our members in the first 6 months of 2016. So I'm going to put a link here in the chat box. It's not going to let me. Hold on. Let me see if I can paste it that way. Yeah. So I just put a link in the chat to the next webinar. Again, it's free to everyone, and the recording is available as well to Mahwah Regional Chamber of Commerce members. It's January 27th. I'm going to be hosting this one. It's going to be leveraging LinkedIn. We're going to talk about how to use LinkedIn properly and profitably, and how to really stand out from the crowd with a great profile, and why you need that. So I put the link in there. Go on over right now and register so you don't miss that. It's free. Tell your friends. Share it with the world. We really want to help as many people with this series as we can.
That's true. Okay, well, thanks again. Signing off. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to womencentric.net. And if you want to find out more about Karen, it's uplevelmedia.com. And we hope that you'll join us for as many of the presentations that we have coming up in the next 6 months as you can. Thanks so much, Karen.
Thank you, Patty. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.